There is an irony in the modern digital world. We talk about Silicon Valley as the beating heart of innovation, the cradle where the future is born. Yet, if you peel back the layers of this ecosystem, you'll find a truth that many don't fully acknowledge. The global tech machine runs, in no small part, on Indian talent. It is not a coincidence. Today, Indians lead some of the most influential tech companies in the world. Google, Microsoft, Adobe, IBM, and even parts of Twitter and Amazon. These are not isolated cases, they are part of a much larger phenomenon. India has become the human engine of global technology. But this is not just about CEOs, it's about scale. From the coding floors of Bangalore to the executive boardrooms of California, Indian professionals are everywhere. They manage cloud architecture, design AI models, and oversee billion-dollar product lines. For decades, Indian engineers have been the invisible infrastructure upon which the world's digital economy rests. The question is why? How did a country once associated with colonial poverty leap into a position where global giants depend on its people? Why can't the tech world function without Indian talent? The answer lies in a mix of history, education, language, economics, and ambition, all converging to create a pipeline of expertise unmatched anywhere else. The historical roots, how India became a tech talent hub. The story begins in the 1980s and 1990s. While the world raced ahead with personal computers and networking, India faced its own challenges: a struggling economy, political instability, and limited industrialization. Yet there was one bright spot: education. The foundations were laid in the 1950s and 60s, when India invested heavily in higher education, particularly in science and engineering. The Indian Institutes of Technology (IITs) were established as elite institutions modeled after MIT. These institutes produce graduates with world-class technical skills at a fraction of the cost of Western universities. By the late 1980s, India's software industry began to take shape. Companies like TCS, Infosys, and Wipro pioneered outsourcing, offering Western corporations affordable coding and maintenance services. While manufacturing lagged behind, software development became India's entry point into globalization. The 1991 economic reforms were a turning point. India liberalized its economy, opened its markets, and embraced information technology as a strategic sector. Around the same time, the internet revolution began, and suddenly geography mattered less. A programmer in Bangalore could write code for a bank in New York or a logistics firm in London. By the early 2000s, India was recognized globally as the IT outsourcing capital of the world. But outsourcing was just the first chapter. Over the next 2 decades, India moved up the value chain from back-office support to core product development, data analytics, and cutting-edge research. The education factor, IITs, NITs, and the STEM culture. If there is one word that explains India's dominance in tech talent, it is education. The country produces 1.5 million engineering graduates every year, and although not all are world-class, the top percentile is exceptional. The Indian Institutes of Technology (IITs) and National Institutes of Technology (NITs) are globally respected. IIT alumni are spread across Silicon Valley, running teams, leading projects, and even founding billion-dollar startups. Getting into an IIT is harder than getting into Harvard. Acceptance rates hover around 0.5%. That level of competition creates a culture of resilience, problem-solving, and intellectual rigor. But it's not just the elite schools. Across the country, thousands of engineering colleges feed a massive pipeline of programmers and developers. Combined with widespread English proficiency, this creates a unique advantage. India produces the largest pool of English-speaking STEM graduates in the world. Moreover, the education system emphasizes mathematics and analytical reasoning from an early age. For decades, middle-class Indian families have viewed engineering as the safest path to upward mobility. This societal mindset, combined with affordable internet and digital resources, has created a workforce that is not only skilled but deeply motivated. The Silicon Valley connection. From immigrants to CEOs, when we talk about Indian talent in global technology, one name inevitably comes up: Silicon Valley. This region is often romanticized as a place of innovation, where ideas and venture capital collide to create the future. But the truth is, Silicon Valley's story cannot be told without Indians. In the 1970s and 1980s, a wave of Indian engineers moved to the United States, primarily for higher studies in computer science and electrical engineering. They were the children of post-independence India, educated in the IITs and NEs, eager to test their skills in a land that promised opportunities. At first they worked as programmers and system engineers for American companies, but over time something extraordinary happened. They started moving up. They became project leaders, product architects, and eventually founders. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Indian-origin entrepreneurs were at the helm of a startup boom in Silicon Valley. Companies like Sun Microsystems, Hotmail, and later, Infosys's U.S. operations were spearheaded by Indians. Today the leadership trend is undeniable. Sundar Pichai runs Google. Satya Nadella leads Microsoft. Arvind Krishna is at IBM. Shantanu Narayan commands Adobe, and Neil Mohan heads YouTube. These are not token appointments, they are strategic choices. Why? Because Indian leaders bring something unique: technical depth, cultural adaptability, and an ability to manage complexity across continents. The scale advantage. A talent pool like no other. Global tech companies face an insatiable demand for talent. Artificial intelligence, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and software engineering require armies of skilled professionals. But here's the reality: the US and Europe simply cannot supply enough engineers to meet this demand. Enter India. With 1.4 billion people and a median age of just 28, India is the world's youngest major economy. Every year millions of students graduate with degrees in technology and engineering. And unlike in many other countries, English is widely spoken, making integration into global workflows seamless. Consider this: over 75% of Fortune 500 companies outsource some form of IT or software development to India. That's not just because of cost savings, it's because of quality at scale. Indian IT firms like TCS, Infosys, and Wipro employ hundreds of thousands of engineers, serving clients in banking, healthcare, e-commerce, and more. But it's not just outsourcing anymore. Today, global giants like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft have their largest engineering campuses outside the US and India. These offices don't just handle support, they design products, build AI models, and manage global cloud infrastructure. Leadership impact. The Indian playbook at the top. It's one thing to have engineers coding away, it's another to have Indians steering the ship. Why do so many tech giants trust Indian-born CEOs? The answer lies in a combination of technical competence and cultural fluency. Indian professionals often grow up in a multicultural environment, navigating linguistic and social diversity daily. This adaptability makes them ideal for leading global teams. Moreover, Indian leaders have demonstrated a rare ability to balance innovation with operational discipline. Satya Nadella, for instance, transformed Microsoft from a fading giant into a cloud powerhouse. Sundar Pichai turned Google into an AI-first company while maintaining its dominance in search and advertising. These leaders didn't rise because of affirmative action or quotas, they rose because they delivered results. And as the digital economy becomes more complex, companies need executives who can think across borders, manage cost efficiencies, and still innovate. Indians, it seems, fit that bill perfectly. Cost versus quality. The sweet spot that changed everything initially. India's rise in the tech sector was driven by cost advantage. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Western companies discovered that outsourcing coding tasks to India saved millions of dollars annually. But what started as a low-cost strategy has evolved into something much more significant. Today, India offers cost efficiency without compromising on quality. Its top-tier engineers, data scientists, and AI specialists deliver at a level that competes with the best in Silicon Valley. And thanks to the massive scale of talent, companies can build large teams in India at a fraction of the cost of assembling a similar team in the US or Europe. This blend of affordability and expertise is a competitive edge that no other country offers at the same scale. It's why Google's AI research in Bangalore, Microsoft's cloud innovations in Hyderabad, and Amazon's data analytics teams in Chennai are shaping the global tech landscape. Beyond coding, moving up the value chain, the old stereotype of Indian engineers being mere coders is outdated. Today, Indians are not just writing code, they are designing global products, leading AI research, managing cybersecurity operations, and shaping digital strategy. Indian product managers oversee billion-dollar services for companies like Meta and Netflix. Data scientists in India are building machine learning models that power global recommendation engines, and Indian-origin entrepreneurs are launching deep tech startups in quantum computing, blockchain, and robotics. This evolution from coding to end-to-end product ownership means India is no longer just a support hub, it's a strategic innovation partner. India versus China in tech talent. Why India wins on human capital. Whenever we talk about global tech, one comparison is inevitable: India versus China. Both nations have scale, both produce millions of STEM graduates every year, but in tech talent, India has a clear edge, and it comes down to two factors: openness and language. While China has built an impressive domestic tech ecosystem, it remains relatively isolated from the global market. Its engineers rarely work on US-based products, partly due to political and regulatory barriers, and partly because of language limitations. India, by contrast, is deeply integrated into global workflows. English proficiency, cultural adaptability, and democratic openness make Indian professionals far more attractive to multinational corporations. In short, India is not just a big talent pool, it's a globally aligned one. Challenges and risks. Can India keep its edge? Of course, this story is not without challenges. India faces a brain drain problem. Many of its best minds still leave for the US or Europe. Infrastructure gaps, inconsistent quality in mid-tier engineering colleges, and the need for continuous upskilling are real issues. Moreover, as automation and AI reshape the job market, India must move faster into cutting-edge domains like generative AI, quantum computing, and cybersecurity to stay relevant. Government and industry need to collaborate to build innovation ecosystems, improve research funding, and enhance digital infrastructure. If India fails to adapt, it risks being overtaken. But if it succeeds, and the signs are promising, it will not just remain the world's back office, it will become the global nerve center for technology innovation. Conclusion: why the tech world runs on Indian talent. Let's return to the question we started with. Why can't global tech companies work without Indian talent? The answer is clear. Because India is not just a source of engineers, it is a source of resilience, innovation, and leadership. From the coding floors of Bangalore to the boardrooms of Silicon Valley, Indians have become indispensable to the digital economy. The world's most valuable companies depend on Indian minds not because of charity or trend, but because talent wins markets, and India delivers that talent at a scale and quality no one else can match. As we move deeper into the era of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and automation, this dependency will only grow. The future of global technology will be written in many languages, but a large part of it will be in an Indian accent.